of different countries came together and they practiced building. They were kind of coached. They were tested on how calm their hands were to make sure that they wouldn't accidentally knock over an entire segment and ruin a lot of progress in the process. And they would essentially figure out a theme and then build a chain reaction so large that it would literally take, what, upwards of 2 hours for the whole thing to fall down. Granted, they added a bit of buffer with sort of like pendulum elements, or you just had a domino getting knocked off a ramp and then it would just rotate in a circle for a long enough time that was calculated for them to run an ad break and a couple of like interviews in the meantime, and then eventually it would just continue from there. And the whole thing was, I think, televised or aired on television across Europe as well, I'm pretty sure. And they also had these segments where break time, by the way. They also had these segments where I think during the breaks, or like somewhere in the middle of all of that, they would have a small area that had not been completed yet, and they would single out 2 people from the builders crowd and basically put them in a time trial where they had to complete the segment eventually under different circumstances. Like, I remember one element that was surrounded by fire and they had to build around that. I remember an element that was submerged in water, and so on and so forth. And so they would have a failsafe where it would still continue if they didn't finish that segment in time, but they would also lose a lot of dominoes in the process that would not get triggered, not fall over, and obviously therefore not contribute to the world record. And also they always found like a fairly popular celebrity at the time to start the first stone. So yeah. Oh my god, eating dominoes, I fucking love them. Also, welcome back. Also, let's try this. But yeah, I remember one year was about like fairy tales. One year was themed around the world and all sorts of stuff like that. And yeah, it was just, oh my god. I loved that shit because that was like actual magic to me, but logical magic. Jesus fucking Christ. That might actually have had the camera shaking. That's the thing. There has been talk of reviving the concept because unfortunately the guy that ran the whole thing ran bankrupt in like the mid-2000s. And so they stopped airing it, and then there was a repeated talk of bringing it back, but I don't know, it came up as recently as last year again, and that was always in November. Domino Day, yes. Hold on. Let's see if there's any news on that, because genuinely that was the absolute best night out of the entire year for me. And there's also a couple of old recordings of this on YouTube if you want to look into that.